Hello, my friends, and welcome to the Suburban Appalachian channel. Today we're going to be pickling some green beans that I picked out of our garden. These are tender green beans, just need to trim the end off, and this is an easy pickle recipe. You've seen me do it with these pickled green tomatoes, but this is a good way of preserving your beans, and we love pickles of all types. We love, of course, the cucumber pickles, the squash pickles, which was really something from South Carolina. My dad's influence, he was from South Carolina. I was born and raised in North Carolina, and now we live in the Blue Ridge Mountains of Southwest Virginia. A beautiful place to live. And we can grow things like this. And the purpose of these videos is to show you don't need something fancy. You don't need to go out and spend a ton of money on equipment. I have some cheap little plastic colanders from the dollar store that I use to wash my beans in and separate everything. And I picked up some canners, and of course vinegar is something that you'll need, and kosher salt. So anybody can do this, and I try to do these videos to encourage other people that it's simple. It's very, very simple. And anybody can do it. You don't need to spend a lot of money. And people say, well, you can buy pickles cheaper and you can make them. Sometimes that's true, but you will not have the satisfaction and taste of a home pickled vegetable. It's just nothing like it. And we do these little videos in the basement of our home. We was blessed when we bought this home to have a little secondary kitchen downstairs. I have my workshop, which is right behind this wall, that I do build birdhouses and do craft projects, which will come later this fall. But I want to do this pickle for you today and show you how easy it is and how simple. And what we're going to start off with, we've got approximately 4 quarts of beans here. By the time I blanch them, maybe 3, I'm not real sure. And that's the beauty of this. We're not precise, this is not rocket science. Anybody can do it. So I have a kettle here on the stove that's boiling, and I'm going to blanch these beans, and I'll be back and forth, and you can watch here, putting these beans in. I'm going to blanch them in boiling water for 2 minutes. Be sure, just 2 minutes. And over in my sink here, I've got an ice water bath standing by. And as you can tell, we are plain and simple. I've got on an old t-shirt. I've been working in my tomato plants, and I've got green streaks all over it, but that's okay. This is reality. I'm showing you the real side. You're at home. You can be yourself and enjoy this. It's so much fun. But we're going to get started. I'm going to go ahead and put in these beans. I'm going to do a little bit at a time, and I'm sorry my camera is not adjusted, and that's going to change soon too. But we'll go ahead and put these in. I'm going to do a few at a time. And I've got a little clock up on the wall that I'll measure my time on. And it's just plain boiling water. And I'm going to time this for 2 minutes. I'm going to time this for 2 minutes, and then we'll be back. And after I blanch all these, and I'll show you how to put the pickle together. Hello, we're back, and if you can see, after blanching the green beans, it turned them a beautiful green. And what I like to do is take the jars, and I'll try to move the camera where you can see what I'm doing. Sorry for the shakiness. But we'll take these jars here, and I've boiled these jars for 5 minutes. And what I'll do is I'll take these green beans and stick them in. Got some more hot water in there. We'll stick the green beans in long ways. And I chose these wide mouth quarts because they're tall. And this is a beautiful pickle when you get done. And it's a simple pickle, but they'll be so good come Christmas. In actually about 6 weeks, they'll develop pickled taste. But we'll leave them sitting here in our basement on the shelf for a few more weeks. But what we'll do, we'll keep filling these jars with these beans, and this is so beautiful. That green is gorgeous. But I blanched these beans for 2 minutes and immediately took them over to the sink and put them in an ice water bath to stop the cooking. These jars have been sterilized, and that's the beauty to these pickles. It's very easy. You don't have to process afterwards because of the vinegar, the acidity from the vinegar, and the salinity from the salt. And this is a time-tested recipe. This has worked in my wife's family for generations, and she does it for us. And I thought we'd demonstrate how it's done. And sometimes you gotta take your finger and poke around and get your beans down in them like you want them. But I'm gonna finish filling these jars, and afterwards we'll come back and put our pickling solution in, and that's the part I want you to see. Okay, we've got our beans in our jar, and I was going to show you how to finish this off, and I'll tilt my camera down, and I'm so sorry my camera's not working good. But what you do, you've got your beans here in a jar, and you take 1 tablespoon of canning salt, kosher salt. It needs to be kosher salt or canning salt. Coarse salt's better without iodine. Table salt won't work. It makes things go kind of mushy and soft, so you want a tablespoon of salt in each jar. Then in each jar I have added a half a cup of apple cider vinegar, and you pour that right in over the beans. I've already done these 2 jars. And then you come back with the water, tap water, and you finish filling the jar. You've got your salt, beans, and vinegar already in there. And you fill your jar to about a 1/2 inch from the top. Finish it off with water. Just like that. Okay, now we got that ready. And see, that's why I like doing this simple pickle recipe. You never overfill your jars. It's always just right. So now I've got a saucepan. I'll take this saucepan and I will take and pour the contents, the liquid that we put in the jar, for 1 jar at a time. We'll pour it in the pan, and then we'll get this on the stove at a rolling boil. And when we get it boiling to a rolling boil, we will pour it back in the same jar that it came out of, and the measurement's perfect. The vinegar's just right, the 1/2 cup of vinegar, the tablespoon of salt, and of course the rest of the water. This way everybody gets the same amount of vinegar, the same amount of salt, and it works perfectly. So we'll give it a few minutes to get boiling, and when we get it up to a rolling boil, I'll finish this jar, and I'll do the other 3, and then we'll put the lids on, and we'll call this recipe done. But I'll show you how beautiful it is when you get done. You never overfill your jar because you're pulling the liquid back out. We've got our can lids sterilized and hot, and that's the key. And you want to be sure when you pour your hot liquid in there to wipe off the top of your jar. That's the #1 reason why can lids fail or fail to seal. There's particles of salt on top of that glass, that smooth glass edge. And another reason jars don't seal is you haven't heated and sterilized your lids, and that wax rubber underneath, it must be sticky, and you can feel a big difference in it. So I'm going to let this cook for a while, and we'll come back in just a moment, and I'll show you how to finish these off. Okay, we're back. This is at a rolling boil, the contents of that jar. And I've got a funnel here, and I'll pour it back in. Oh, it smells so good already. Then we'll take the funnel out. Never overfill it because you're perfectly measured from the jar itself. Wipe the top off. That's very important. You'll take your hot can ring and immediately I feel it stick. Then we'll put on the can lid, and I got 2 more left to do, and when we get done, we'll do a little summary, and I'm sorry for the shaky camera. We'll get better over time. Just bear with us. Thank you. Well, we've got everything in the jar. Turned out real pretty and green and beautiful, and these will taste so good this November, especially around Thanksgiving. Thank you for watching this video, and you'll leave them setting till they seal. No processing necessary. That's the secret to this simple pickling recipe. Your jars, number one, are sterile. You have blanched your green beans. You have the half a cup of vinegar in each jar, the acidity that deters bacteria. You have a tablespoon of salt that salinity keeps away bacteria and it gives it a wonderful flavor. But this is a pickled green bean recipe. I'd like for you to give it a try. If you don't have a garden, you can buy them from your local grocery store or produce place. It's just so easy to do, and thank you for watching Appalachian cooking methods that we do and canning methods. But I thank you for watching our channel. Subscribe to the Suburban Appalachia channel, and if you like this video, please give us a thumbs up, and we'll keep doing more. We have coming up in the next few weeks, we'll have some making homemade kraut, and I'm going to show you a very simple way of doing kraut, and then just some different canning methods and pickling methods that I think y'all enjoy. And I just want to thank God for this opportunity and for this blessing, and subscribe to Suburban Appalachia channel and like our videos, and I hope to be back with you soon. God bless.